Welcome to War Games on Toast, all of you lovely people. I am once again back talking about the latest edition of Warcry, and today I am doing something a little bit weird, a little bit different. Today I am going to look at the Vulkyn Flameseekers again. And that's because, man, whew, a lot's changed. A lot has changed. Whew. Since my last video, that was, 2 weeks ago? And no, I'm not bitter about that at all. You're bitter. Whew. But before we get into all of that, please consider hitting like, subscribe, and leaving a comment, as it helps me fight against that dastardly YouTube algorithmic demon. And if you want to help support the channel in a more tangible way, then please consider subscribing to my YouTube members or to my Patreon for as little as £1 a month. This gives you all kinds of cool perks like bonus behind the scenes members videos, a chance to vote on which videos I do next, and a chance to win bespoke Warcry boxes in our monthly giveaways. And a special shout out goes to the bona fide algorithmic demon slayer herself, Brioche, who helps bankroll all of these videos. But without further ado, let's get on with the show.
And now for something completely different.
That's right, we are back looking at the Vulkyn Flameseekers. I kid you not, this past month or so of Warcry has been absolutely bonkers. So much new stuff has been released and all of it is pretty damn awesome. And my favourite faction right now needs to be discussed a second time because honestly, my first video is partially out of date now. Like, literally some units I recommended no longer exist. It's kind of wacky. But more specifically, we are back because there have been some pretty significant points changes. Well, points change in the singular. This is almost worth a video on its own because this one change has some pretty far-reaching ramifications as to how you might want to play the Flameseekers. Not only that, the cities of Sigmar have been nuked from orbit. They're gone. Their abilities are gone, and everything that made them good, swift as the wind, has also been erased. Is this sad? Not really. I think this is a pretty healthy change for the game, so goodbye Cities of Sigmar, and hello Cities of Sigmar. That's right, from the ashes of the Cities of Sigmar comes the Cities of Sigmar, only cooler, condensed, improved, and streamlined. Beautiful, beautiful. Cities of Sigmar now has 3 warbands associated with it, and all 3 of them are pretty darn awesome. Being an Order faction, this gives them a lot of new toys for the Flameseekers to mess around with. Oh, and the Hexbane Hunters are also a thing now. And finally, the reason for this video is because I like the Flameseekers, damn it, they're just so much fun. And whilst they have their flaws, they have given a hearty burst of joy to a game I already overflow with gush with. So suck it up, Buttercup. We are doing this because I am a selfish man.
You make me sick!
But let's start from the top. Points changes. In my last video, I said that the Flameseekers were overcosted somewhere because they couldn't take all 9 of their models in a 1,000 point list. This has proven to be the case as Games Workshop has changed the points of 2 models. The Runefather, both variants of the Runefather. Where at one point this guy was 165 to 170 points, he is now a smooth 150. This is huge for a few reasons. One, the Runefather is way more enticing as a model now. He was always attacks, but now he's attacks you aren't too sad about taking. He brings a lot of bulk and power for a reasonable price, and I kinda love it. Secondly, both weapon options costing the same gives players more options when building and makes the Bokaz variant more appealing. Before, you just wouldn't take it often because it was more expensive and you needed the points elsewhere a lot of the time. It was always good, it just struggled to fit. Not anymore. In fact, I run Bokaz exclusively now because I prefer the bonus strength and the crit on that profile. This points change lets you take all 9 models in your box now, but it also lets you not do that. I have played a lot of Flameseekers over the past 2 weeks. We are talking close to 20 games. They worked very well with 60 to 80 points worth of blessings in their pocket and in an 8-man warband list. The 15 to 20 point reduction on a Runefather can just mean you stick to 8 models and then just take 15 to 20 points of more blessings, and that's it. And this works really well. It makes the Flameseekers wonderfully malleable, and this change expands that nicely. What I'm trying to say in a roundabout way is that the points bulking of the Flameseekers during its launch was an eye-opening experience that defied conventional wisdom. That wisdom being don't cut models for blessings. That has kind of changed now. Oh, and of course, you can just justify taking more Runefathers now since they are cheap and very effective for their points, which is very nice indeed. Now, the Thane didn't technically take a hit. Nothing has changed for the Thane. However, experience and points changes has dulled him slightly. He is now very close to the points cost of a Runefather who is very comparable in terms of stats. The option to take 2 Runefathers is strong, and the desire to take 2 Thanes has diminished, but not just because of the points. No, in reality, Thanes are just a very pricey model in terms of resources. A Thane doesn't make good use of Ignite weapons because his crit isn't high enough, but he does have a very good triple. That triple competes with the Drothmaster's Creed of Flame, so you are stretching your resources, not to breaking point, but to a point where taking more than one Thane feels a little bit too indulgent. Not only that, but Strength 4 and 2-4 damage isn't the best profile around, making him very prone to just being countered to death. He needs blessings to function, and that only increases his price. One Thane is almost a must because his triple is too good to pass up a lot of the time. He's a bully, a wall of muscle and threat that can murder chaff and swing up at bigger targets with some investment. You only really need one, however. Since we are looking back at some units I've had a little bit of a change of heart on, I mentioned that I run all Bokaz in my last video, but I also advised if you wanted to play it safe, then take a mix of Bokaz and Splitaxes on your skill breakers. I don't think that's the way to go anymore. I think running all Bokaz all the way, all the time, is the way to go, and you almost always want to give them +1 crit. Going to a 2-6 profile is monstrous when you can use Ignite Weapon. Splitaxes don't have the damage, they don't synergize with your abilities, and more importantly, they are not more consistent despite hitting on 3+ more often than not. Why is that? Well, a 2-6 Bokaz skill breaker is doing more damage at a bare minimum with Ignite Weapon. No matter what, you know you are hitting for 6 damage. If you hit all 3 of your attacks with just hits, you do 6 damage. If you miss all 3 of your attacks, you do 6 damage. That is baked in consistency in a way very few factions can match or even do. You spend a double and 6 damage comes in. The best part, if you roll anything else, you do more than that. 6 is the worst case scenario. This makes skill breakers with +1 crit Bokazes horrifyingly reliable at killing things and swinging up. Splitaxes just can't compete in my eyes. Bokaz all the way, baby! In my last video, I recommended Old Guards and Lordlings for their Swift as the Wind ability. This let your dudes move faster and was a solid pick. That is all gone now. They don't exist. This version of Cities of Sigmar has been removed from the game, and this ability no longer exists. This is healthy for the game and heralded the coming of the new Cities of Sigmar. Cities of Sigmar, but new and improved. The Cities of Sigmar Dispossessed faction is amazing for Flameseekers because of the addition of Warding Kings and Rune Lords. These 2 models are tanky for their price, and they get an amazing ability that allows Flameseekers to really compete in objective games. Over My Dead Body is a double that lets any Dispossessed count as 3 models when holding objectives. Not only that, this stacks. If you were to use this, then wait, then use this again, your Warden King or Rune Lord now counts as 5 models. Then, if you have them straddling 2 objectives, they functionally count as 6 to 10 models for 115 or 145 points. This is an amazing ability on excellent models that fits perfectly into Flameseekers. Not only that, the Rune Lord can apply a powerful strength buff on a double, which helps shore up the issues I had with Thanes, which is their low strength. You can't go wrong here. Rune Lords are super cheap and the way to go a lot of the time, but if you want more bulk, a Warden King with +4 wounds isn't going anywhere. They are both very, very good.
Groovy.
Auric Flamekeepers were tentatively recommended last time, and I'm still going to say that they are okay. If you put +1 reaction on them for 30 points, they are solid enough. However, they are very passive. Their damage buff can be played around very easily, and he brings nothing to the table in terms of offense. If he isn't buffing or moving things, he's doing nothing, and he's quite expensive when you compare him to the Dispossessed from before. He's fine, he has the potential to be excellent, but more often than not, he is just kind of dead weight. So test him out a little bit, but don't expect too much. This guy's probably a bit of a dud. Now, Neave Blacktalon made her debut a week or so ago, and she's amazing. Super expensive, super fast, and a blender on the battlefield. She is even better in Flameseekers though. You will have to sacrifice a model to take her, dropping you down to about 7 models, but she works wonders here. Drothmasters can whip her to get her to move 14 inches as a bonus move. This is outstanding for doing everything you could ever imagine. Super fun to play, but very risky as your model count gets scarily low and you are putting a lot of eggs into her one basket. White Dwarf 494 is here, and it comes with some new Bladeborn, with Hexbane's Hunters being the ones we really care about. This is just a really solid set of dudes. Heskel himself is very solid for his points and opens up some very potent models. Quiet Pock is excellent at ranged. Both dogs are wonderful for fast moving chaff who can get whipped to move 24 inches in a single turn, and since they're beasts, they even synergize with the secondary effect of Creed of Flame. Heskel can boost his crit, which fits the crit heavy theme of the Flameseekers. The dogs are fun, and Pock can be used to do some long ranged AoE damage. It's a cool set of dudes, well worth experimenting with for sure. So before we sign off, let's look at the changes in practice and take a peek at some cool lists. The one box list can now be run fully. So Runefather with Bokaz, a Thane, a Master, a Droth, and 5 Scalies all with Bokaz. This is really solid, honestly. One of the better one box lists thanks to the punch the Flameseekers have in general. You can swap weapons to taste. I just really like the Bokaz. They have never failed me. But let's get into the funky fun stuff. The Neave Slingshot is where it's at for pure nonsense shenanigans. You take your father, a Master, 4 Breakers, and Neave Blacktalon. You give everyone a Bokaz, and then you apply +1 strength to Neave and +1 crit to your Scale Breakers, and that's it. You have 7 models, you have a lot of powerful crit potential, and you can Slingshot Neave to do whatever you want. Try not to suicide charge her, as she is way too expensive to lose early on, but do use her to contest objectives, murder chaff, and blend tougher things. That +1 strength is very handy for taking on toughness 5 heavy warbands, like, say, Slaves to Darkness, Stormcast, or Iron Golems. Super fun list, give it a go. Now, this list pushes for more of a fast-moving style. You take the usual Runefather, Master, 3 Breakers, give everyone a Bokaz, and then give 2 of the Breakers +1 crit. You then ally in a Warden King with +4 wounds, Heskel Hexbane, and both of his dogs. That's 9 models, the ability to hold objectives, the ability to contest objectives, and also retaining the threat potential of your Ignite weapon dwarfs. This is a really funky way to play, but I think it's actually outclassed by my actual list. So this is the last list, and this is the list I am currently using right now, and it's doing work on the tabletop. So we have a Bokaz Father, Master, Thane, 4 Scale Breakers with Bokaz, and an allied Rune Lord. That's it. Very basic on paper. Then you have 90 points worth of blessings. 90. You flex them based on your opponent and then use them however you want, but my go-to, old reliable, is +1 crit on the Father, the Drothmaster, and all the Scale Breakers. Then you take +1 movement on the Thane and +4 wounds on the Rune Lord. That's 1000 points on the nose and very, very powerful. You can play most missions with this list, your only weakness being super powerful ranged units. You can deal with them with Creative Flame, especially with your movement for Thane. Just be aware that the uber powerful ranged units in the game are a big threat here, and you have limited ways to deal with it. Everything else though, you should be fine with. I haven't done one of these before, but I felt it was needed due to how much has changed in Warcry and how out of date my original video became. And that is the end of this video. If you made it this far, you are an absolute legend. Please consider hitting the like, comment and subscribe button, as it helps the channel out an awful lot. And let me know in the comments down below what you think of the Flameseekers, especially now that they've had some little tweaks and of course all the new additions that have been added to Warcry recently. It's a pretty exciting time, and hopefully this kind of pace continues, because I have been quite enamored with Games Workshop's love of Warcry at the minute, and I can't get enough. But until next time, lads, ladies, and everybody in between and beyond, I will see you in the next video. Ta-ra. Oh God, I am so sick. Ooh. My throat is not good today.